All right, so I'm back at it. I turned my phone. Again, I don't know where I'm supposed to look here. So I think here. Anyway, we talked about Zwingli. We'll talk about the Anabaptists. Last time I told you the Anabaptists come out of Zwingli's Zurich. But just like you have reformers popping up. And one thing you have to remember is every town in Germany and Switzerland, most towns, some in France, some in the Netherlands, are raising up. There are people who are being influenced by Luther. There are people who will be influenced by Zwingli. There are people who are reading the Bible on their own. And they are becoming reformers. There's not just four reformers. There's not just Luther, Calvin, Zwingli, Bucer. There are hundreds. Right? So every town you have somebody that's like, I want to be the reformer. Sometimes they're killed, sometimes they're run off, and sometimes they're successful. So, but the main ones are the ones we're talking about. So with the Anabaptists, they have a few people that come beforehand who are fun because they're crazy. So I want to talk about the Zwickau prophets and then Thomas Müntzer. So when Luther is in hiding in 1722. He's in Marburg, which is where Frederick is hiding him. So if you remember, he is kidnapped by Frederick for his own protection, so the Catholics can't get him and kill him. And he translates the New Testament while he's in Marburg, right? And he's in contact with Melanchthon. Remember, Melanchthon is his right-hand man. There's another guy by the name of Karlstadt. I mentioned him earlier, theology professor in Wittenberg. He's in contact with him, and then these people come from Zwickau, and they call themselves the Zwickau prophets. And they are a hat maker, a guy who makes furs, and the other guy, I can't remember what the other guy is, but there's three guys who come to town and they say, you know what, we don't need the Bible anymore. They're like, God speaks directly through us. There's a time in the Bible that says that we don't, the law is going to be written on their hearts, and that's now, and that's us. And Melanchthon and Karlstadt don't know what to do. They're like, what do we do with this? And Luther comes out of hiding to chase them out. He's like, no, if you do not have the Bible, you don't have anything. You have to have the Bible. And kicks them out. They influence a guy by the name of Thomas Müntzer, who had been a student of Luther, 1519, and then leaves and comes back in the early 1520s as a huge critic of Luther. Once Luther is in, just my wife's texting me, and if I touch it, I'll mess the phone up, So, Thomas Müntzer looks at Luther. Once Luther is now kind of established in Wittenberg, and he sees him as a sellout. And he's like, you come along, and here you are, you're selling out. You say we're supposed to only live as the Bible, and that it's supposed to change everything. For Müntzer, he believed that the Bible not only undermined the Catholic Church, but all of the civil government as well. So for Müntzer, he's like, look, what do we do with all these serfs? Right? What do we do with all the peasants? The gospel's for them, and everyone is equal, right? There's neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free. So he's basically arguing for sort of like socialism, all right? In fact, I think there were communists back in the 1900s who tried to argue that like Thomas Müntzer was kind of like one of their like patron saints, right? Somebody who way early on is making these arguments. It was certainly not that well defined. Personally, this is Olson. This is not substantiated. I think Müntzer is jealous of the attention Luther gets, and I really think he wants to be like the guy. But he didn't have the studying or anything. So what happens is, ever since the plague hit in 1349,